The longest intro ever. It's not over. It's still going.
It gives people a chance to log in, get some beers, sit down.
I know.
It's ample.
The best part is, by the time the intro's over, the show's over.
You could be having a life on a Friday night. Instead, you're here with us now. Friday Night AMA with your host, Showtime George. Showtime George.
I love it and I hate it in the same way. I got such a love-hate relationship with that intro. Welcome everybody to the Friday Night AMA. As always, we have the Blitz crew here with you. We've got Jason in the upper left-hand corner, Mike doing dirty things behind the scenes right above me, and we have our special guest,
George.
Yes, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. This is a man who needs absolutely no introduction. If you don't know who he is, you should know who he is. You can follow him on Twitter at RayGQ. He is Ray Garvin. He is the creator of Destination Devi. He also does work with FTN, and as you can see by the very classy, very attractive sweatshirt, he does work with the Roto Underworld as well. Ray, how are you doing this evening?
Man, I'm still recovering from a food coma, man. But we got football, so we gotta get ready for that. I feel like I gained about 10 pounds, man. So I'm doing well and excited to talk to you guys and hopefully provide some good information for the viewers and listeners out there tonight.
Absolutely. But so we talked a little bit earlier, and I asked you if who is in the comment. By the way, he's already blowing up our comment section over here. We said we wouldn't talk about Hoos unless he's here. He's here, so now we can absolutely talk about him. I asked you if Hoos explained to you what the AMA is, because I didn't send you show notes, and that's because there's no notes for this show. It is literally, if we can go through the whole show without talking football, it is a success in my eyes. Now, I understand, you are a destination. I'm going to give you the term guru because I think that's what the G stands for, right? Ray Guru Q. So you are a destination guru. You are Devi guru. You're one of the top Devi guys, in my opinion. But we're going to try to go through a whole show here without talking football, if that's okay with you.
I'm just here, baby. Whatever y'all want to do.
So the first thing I have to say, because we've already got a handful of football questions. We're going to get to those anyway, because you know what it is. It's ask me anything, and if you ask a football question, we're going to answer a football question. I do want to mention, because Hoos brought it up, don't forget Ray is partnered up with Sleeper Wire. So yeah, don't forget us. Who could forget us? I mean, that's why you're here. You're watching Sleeper Wire. But
and this is why I said he's the 101 of garbage. See, he does things like this. He does we're talking trash ahead of the show on Who's a little bit, just because of we love him, and if we didn't talk trash on him, it would mean that we didn't. So
let's get to the football questions, because that's what we've got so far. Who's Miami starting at running back this week? It might be Ray, just to be honest. They are quickly running out of options. I am far too fat to do it. George is out of shape. He blew out his knee catching one pass in practice, and Mike's not going to pass the drug test. Let's just be fair. So
I'm a Tampa guy, so I'm ready to back up Ronald Jones at any second, but I ain't going to Miami.
It's probably going to be Ray.
I ain't passing the drug test either. I'm telling you right now. I'm not passing it, baby.
They're going to be like, COVID has no chance against this THC, bud.
To be fair, if you need me to send you some pee, this might be the only time I've ever said that sentence, and the person on the other side wasn't offended. All right, so who's Miami starting this week at running back, guys?
Matt Burita. I don't know. Ahmed's out. They cut Jordan Howard. Who does that leave? Like Matt Burita?
They don't want Matt Burita on the field.
I think we're going to see a lot of Malcolm Perry too. You know what I mean? A lot of Malcolm Perry sprinkled in. I mean, you still got Lynn Bowden there. I mean, it's just if that's what it boils down to, who's Miami starting? If that's your decision, you're in a world of trouble. Yeah, you're in a world of trouble if that's where you're at, man. Because even if I confidently felt like Malcolm Perry was going to be the guy, I would not feel good about recommending that play to anybody out there whatsoever.
No, you're looking at the Jets. It's a sweet matchup. You're not starting any Miami Dolphin running back this week. Let's just be honest. It's just not happening.
So Kevin coming in with a little bit of the intro love. You know, next show is literally going to be all
George.
Yeah, next show is going to be all intro. It's going to be just that song in a loop over and over and over again, with us and the co-host just sitting there like going,
just doing the head bob. Yeah, Let's get it over with. King Gritzy wants to know: do you drop Cook to move Beasley up? I'm assuming this is Jared Cook.
Yep, Jared Cook. I'm a little familiar with this from I think we had his questions going on the Sleeper Waivers show, George. So I'm a little familiar with this guy's lineup. Dropping Cook to move Beasley up. Beasley's getting the action. I don't know. Tight ends are trash if they're not outside of the top three. They're pretty disposable in my opinion. So I'm good with this.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and Beasley's been eating, man. I mean, they've got, who do they have? They have the Chargers. I mean, he's been feasting with Josh Allen. So I don't hate that at all.
Right, and they're going to be in a situation where they're going to be throwing a lot this week. So give me Beasley.
Now, the next question he wants to know here is: would you start Beasley over Tim Patrick? And I think I would.
I would. It's going to be a shootout, man. Buffalo's defense is garbage as well. And Justin Herbert has been flames. I can see what would be interesting, and I don't have the lines pulled up in front of me, is what does Vegas have the over-under set at? And if it's high 50s, I mean, they're predicting a shootout. And with Herbert in those flames, I definitely would rock with Cole Beasley, man.
I was trying to pull up the over/under right now too. I know that's what we're all quiet for. So we're all doing it instead of talking. I mean, this is my first time on the show, but I was rambling a little bit of filibuster, so somebody could I threw that out there, and I was like, by the time I get done rambling about this Beasley Justin Herbert thing, I said that twice. Somebody have the over/under pulled up for me. So at this point, I think there you go. I've got to tell you, my internet's just spinning. I've got bad issues tonight, man. I don't know what's going on.
They've got LA at plus 5.5. So
what's the over under?
53.5.
53.5. There you go.
Well.
I was just waiting for my turn to talk. I had that shit up pretty quick.
Is AB a must start? Wentz, Balaj, Eckler, Adams, Lockett, Cooper, Tim Patrick, Antonio Brown instead of Tannehill in the Superflex. I saw in the Superflex, I think I'm playing Tannehill over AB. Like I want the quarterback, and Tannehill's a pretty competent quarterback. He's getting almost 20 points guaranteed every week. So I think I want Tannehill instead of Antonio Brown there. But I would definitely be playing Antonio Brown over Tim Patrick.
Same.
Yeah, I'm doing the same, although the Colts defense is pretty decent against – the Colts defense is pretty decent. I don't know. I'm still playing Tannehill over Patrick, though.
Yeah, volume. Man, Tannehill's going to give you that volume.
Listen, all I know is I came on the show. I was told there'd be no football talk tonight. I was not prepared for all of this.
Yes, King Gritzy, go AB, Lockett, and Adams and Beasley. That's your go-to right there. So, All right, we got those questions out of the way. Ray, I didn't get a chance to do this in the beginning of the show, and that's on me. Why don't you tell the people watching, if they're not familiar with you, can you give them a little bit of your background?
Yeah, I mean, you did a great job with the introduction. Creator of Destination Devi. It's a dynasty football podcast that primarily focuses on college prospects and rookies. Solo show, so I try to keep it very concise, 20 minutes, 25 minutes tops, unless I have a guest. But background, grew up playing football, went to school in Las Vegas, high school in Las Vegas, Nevada, had a couple of Division I offers coming out of high school. Was a knucklehead, so I was committed to Boise State, and in my senior year, got into some trouble. They pulled the offer at Boise State, but luckily for me, my position coach, my would have been position coach at Boise State, knew a coach at Division II Chadron State, and they offered me some money to come to Nebraska, play football out there. I was actually a part of the same recruiting class as Danny Woodhead, so Danny Woodhead and I played college ball together. It was really cool to develop a relationship with him and still talk to Danny to this day. Yep.
Nebraska at like Go Big Red, Nebraska?
No. Division II, Chadron State College, little old
dude,
school.
I almost played baseball for Chadron State, the Eagles. Dude, I was
Eagles,
almost
baby.
Eagle. Fuck yeah, dude. I almost was a pitcher for that. So they were scouting me. And dude, like the game before, I got hit in the face with a so I pitched a curveball. Guy hit it up and it hit me right below the nose, right? Knocked me out. And so I was pitching when Chadron State scout was there watching me, and I couldn't get the damn ball over the plate, like because I was too scared after getting hit like that. That's crazy. Chadron State, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But sorry, keep talking. You said Nebraska. I started thinking about home.
Small world, man. The big town of Chadron, Nebraska, pride of the RMAC. So,
to be fair, if you talk about a small podunk town, Mike's probably lived there.
Yeah, this is true. The odds are in our favor that Mike has lived there.
It was crazy though, man. So coming from the big city of Las Vegas, you've got this black dude with dreadlocks going to Chadron, Nebraska. You talk about sticking out like a sore freaking thumb.
I was going to say right in.
But I loved it, man. I developed some really good relationships with those guys and their family. And that's the cool thing about football, man. Like all that other shit that goes on, everything, like when you're on the field together, man, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter. Like you're just brothers, man. And to this day, I've got some really good friends that I would have never interacted with. And hell, they probably never would have interacted with me had it not been for this crazy game. So love football, love talking college and prospects. And, you know, one day I was just listening to a fantasy football show, and I'm not going to say the name of the show that I was listening to, but it was just horrible rookie draft advice. I just thought it was bad. I was like, this is what people are listening to and implementing in their fantasy leagues. And I just said I could do a better job than that. And I bought a microphone, and it didn't start off good at first, but perseverance and just busted my ass and hustling. And here we are today, man. So I enjoy it, man. And I'll keep doing it for as long as it feels like fun. The moment it starts to feel like work, I'll just be out and just watch the game. Doesn't matter to me, man. So that's really what I'm about, man. Background actually played a little bit. So yeah, man.
So I listened to one of the shows you did, and you told a story about Danny Woodhead. I believe it was you trying to tackle him. Do you want to tell that story? Because it's a pretty good one.
Yeah, man. Cocky ass dude from Las Vegas. You know, I was the big recruit. I was supposed to be at Boise State. I mean, Orlando Scandrick took me on my recruiting visit, man. That's where I was supposed to be. And I keep hearing about this dude. Danny Woodhead broke Gale Sayers' rushing record in the state of Nebraska, the pride of North Platte, Nebraska. I keep hearing about this dude. And I'm like, this dude did like bull, man. So we get out there, we get our pads first day of preseason training camp, and he's playing offense. I'm playing corner. I'm playing backside corner. They run a toss sweep to the other side. Now, mind you, if you saw a picture of Danny, he does not look like I mean, he just looks. He doesn't look like a football player, man. He just looks like a regular dude. So I'm looking at this dude, and I'm like, and this is again cocky ass kid from Vegas. I'm like, there's no way this white boy is a cold running back. Ain't no way, dude. Like, no way. They toss him the ball. I'm supposed to take the angle to cut him off. Like, there's the angle. You take the angle. I took the angle, and I'm running full speed, and he's just trotting. And I'm like, uh-oh. Like, I've got the angle. I can't catch. Why is he? And then I get cussed out, have to do up downs because Danny just outran me 80 yards to the end zone when I had the angle by far. And I played in high school. I played against DeMarco Murray. I was on the field with Steven Jackson of the St. Louis Rams out of Las Vegas. I've seen some pretty good players in my time. I've never seen an athlete better than Danny Woodhead. I mean, that dude, he left football. Like, after the football season, goes out to indoor track and makes it to the national championship in the 60-meter dash, goes out there on the basketball court, and you can't stop him. A hell of a golfer, just hands down the best athlete I've ever seen. And watching him day in and day out of practice, I mean, he set the NCAA all-time rushing record, like out of all divisions when he left college football. Hands down the best player I've ever seen, like in person, live. He's that good, that talented, man. And having to practice against him every day, there was no doubt in my mind after he rushed for like 2,000 yards as a true freshman. I was like, he's going to go to the NFL. And he did, and won a Super Bowl and was pretty damn good in fantasy football, man. But that dude was the truth, man. That dude was the truth.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that is awesome.
Do you ever catch him?
After about 6 practices, 6 games when he was leading college football in rushing, if you even touched Danny, that was the end of your career there. There was no tackling Danny. It's funny because he could run you over. He'll run into you. But if he hit the ground and it was your fault, you're done, man. That was it. You're on a bus ticket out of there. So, I never tackled him. We hit a couple of times, but you couldn't tackle Danny after week 6.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
He is definitely pride of North Platte, man. I've got a lot of family that live in North Platte, Nebraska. And so it's funny, every time I go there, even to this day, they're like, Danny Woodhead is from here, right? I'm like, yes. Like, you guys have a sign up in your entrance to your town, like, yes, I'm aware. Danny Woodhead is from North Platte, Nebraska.
Yep.
I love that small town stuff, man. It cracks me up.
So we got a question here from Bob Gilchrist talking about Rondell Moore. He wants to know why you think he's a top 5.
18 years old, dominated college football as an 18-year-old true freshman. I mean, completely dominated. Over 100 receptions, 1,200 yards, 12 TDs, 2,000 all-purpose yards in the Big Ten as an 18-year-old true freshman. So the analytical profile matches up with what you see on film. He doesn't have prototypical size. He's not going to be an X wide receiver on the outside at the next level. But I think we've seen the NFL start to adopt their styles of play to fit some of these athletes, and what he can do with the ball in his hands. He's second to none to anybody in college football. So if you believe in that playmaker and that type of talent, Rondell Moore is your guy.
Yeah, and also you recently released a podcast on Roto Underworld. Like you said earlier, you do them about 25 minutes. You just released one on Rondell Moore, and it was an absolute gem of a podcast.
Yeah, so, man. When I turn the mic on, man, it's just like poetry just spews from these lips, man. Just the Rondell Moore, the brown hair. I don't even know where I get this shit from. I literally don't. I don't have a show sheet either. I'll just get on there and just turn the mic on and just start talking, and it sounds decent.
I had the same problem. Whenever these lips start moving, it's just poetry. I mean, it's beautiful stuff.
There you go. I love it. Yes.
I got two guys above us shaking their head. Absolutely, that is not true. No.
It is something.
Ray, you don't see him doing this show alone, do you?
In a dynasty keeper, would you give a second-round pick for Hunter Henry? I would.
I think I would. I think he's one of those tight ends that is at least giving you the volume.
Yeah, I would do a second-round pick for Hunter Henry. For me, that's a no-brainer. He's at least a consistent top 8 tight end. If you can get that from that position, you might as well, you're not getting a top 8 tight end in the second round in the draft. Bob says he's got Rondell Moore compared to Deshaun Jackson. Do you think that's a good comp? And I know you hate comparing players to players, but
I think it's okay. I think Deshaun is little. He was actually able to win on the outside. I think Deshaun Jackson is probably, if there were a mold for a prototypical wide receiver when you're talking about these little guys, I think Deshaun fits more of that role. I don't see Rondell Moore in that same light. I really do think he's a mixture of like a Tyreek Hill / Robert Woods, that player that's going to run those jet sweeps, those jet motions, just get the ball in their hands really quick. Like Deshaun Jackson, you line him up on the outside and you say, just go straight very, very fast. And Deshaun Jackson was going to win that. I don't think he's that. I don't think he's that guy. I think he's a guy that he's going to have a low ADOT. You're just going to want to get the ball in his hands as quick as possible. He's going to win with a lot of slants, a lot of out routes, a lot of smoke screens. I think that's going to be his game at the next level.
So as good as he sounds, it sounds like you're saying he's got to be with a coach that knows how to use him. So he could go to a bunch of teams that could ruin his career pretty quick.
100%, man. 100%. Landing spot's going to be big for him. He's my wide receiver 1. And I'm really – you would like to think that these evaluators and these coaches at the NFL are like the most brilliant minds in football. So you would like to think that if they draft a player like Rondell Moore, they'll have a plan in place for him. But we continue to see time and time again that they don't. And I'm hoping that he gets in a system where that offense got, like, can you imagine him with Kyle Shanahan? You know what I mean? A coach that's like, I know what you can do, and I'm not going to ask you to do anything other than what you're good at, and we're going to hammer that. Like, look how they're using Brandon Ayuk and Deebo Samuel. He would crush in that scheme. If he lands with the Jets and they just say, go outside, you're going to play wide receiver, it's probably not going to be good.
Yeah, it's amazing how many of these coaching staffs draft players and then ask them, hey, I want you to completely change your game. Like what you did to succeed, I don't want you to do that. I want you to do something totally different. Like that just boggles my mind at times.
Yeah, in a game like football, as a coach, you have to take your talent and your scheme and make it fit with the talent you have. You can't NFL has shown us over and over and over again, you can't have a set way of doing things and then bring in players and go, okay, you're going to fit my mold. I'm not going to go do what you do. And the best coaches we see year in and year out are able to do that. Another guy like Andy Reid. Now, Kansas City wouldn't be a great spot for him because they've got Mecole Hardman, they've got Tyreek Hill. Like it wouldn't be great if he was number 3 in there. But again, it's a guy who uses his talent in a way that highlights what they do. So let's see. Bob says that it's nice to see me get out of bed. So I usually do the show from my bed because it's comfortable. But again, I was having internet trouble and it wasn't reaching out there. So I had to come to my wife's office. As you can see, it's like a Disney Wonderland in here. So
dude, I thought that was your office.
Oh, it is his office. Don't let him fool you. That is 100% Jason's office. Those are all his Eeyore dolls and everything else. Jason's a big Eeyore guy.
Here's the thing, man. So what this is it used to be my home theater. I had a projector up, and I went and bought some old AMC theater seats. I had a 92-inch screen. Then I had a second kid, and now wait a minute, Hoos. That's not what you said when you were at my bed yesterday. Don't bring that up. So I had an actual home theater. We had a second child. My wife actually has to work from home. She got the office. I got the shaft. I'm living in Eeyore land.
I see a nice sword hanging up on the wall back
so
there.
That's actually so that is my grandfather's sword. They gave it to him when he graduated from the Naval Academy. That's the one thing I've got left of mine in here. I've got a little bit of I got some crap in the closet over there that you can't see. And then the rest of it's just my wife's. It's just a disaster.
It's really weird that just that one thing is yours on the wall and everything else is hers.
It's all Jason's.
This is
complete denial right now.
So we've got the craft corner right over here.
That's
Jason,
where
I don't do any crafting. I'm not a
Yep.
crafty guy. I do
go.
make t-shirts, I guess.
something.
Cricket
Jason-
shit everywhere.
Cricket shit everywhere. That's Jason. He's a little crafty guy. He's got himself the shirt press. He's got all those Eeyore stuffs. That's his.
I'm cheap. I make shirts. I don't buy them.
Oh shit.
All right, let's get off me and get on back onto these guys because they're more interesting than my wife's office.
Here we go. Thoughts on Elijah Moore in Devy leagues? Is he the real deal? Seems pretty unknown in the general community.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, man. Here's the thing, and this is my advice to people. I know that we all play in far too many leagues. We got to focus on DFS. You've got your redraft leagues. You got your dynasty leagues. Like Devy is still a very small part of the fantasy football community, and there are 133 Division I college programs, and most of us would rather do other things on Saturday than watch football all day when we've got Sunday. So you just got to pay attention to the guys who do play in Devy leagues, who do follow the college prospects, because Elijah Moore, I think he's got in 8 games, he's got like 7 of them over 10 receptions on the season. I think 3 200-yard games, 5 100-yard receiving games. He's an absolute stud. If he were playing for LSU or Alabama, we'd all be pants off. I mean, just pants completely off, underwear to our ankles right now, salivating over this kid for the NFL next year. But because he's at Ole Miss and Ole Miss stinks, you really haven't heard about him. But I think he's a legitimate slot threat at the next level. Again, one of those players it's going to be landing spot dependent. At 5'9", 185 pounds, he's not going to profile as an outside wide receiver. So we're going to have to, monitor where he goes. But he definitely has the talent to be a consistent fantasy scorer and NFL player at the next level. He's good.
I guess. Were we supposed to wear pants?
I don't have any on.
There's the reason Jason's always in bed.
Yes.
I don't have any on, man.
Listen. It is weird to have a hoodie on with no pants, though. I think that's a little different.
I'm ashamed of my upper half. The bottom half, I'm all right, man.
I mean, if you're gonna have a good half, bottom half's the one to go.
Dude, it's Friday. It's Friday night. The kids are in bed. My wife has had a couple of margaritas. I'm just trying to get through this show so I can go handle business, man.
Like to hear.
I mean, listen, I like that you're ready already. Bottom half, yeah. Bob Gilchrist is exactly right. Winnie the Pooh style. Oh man, so Hammer Cast Bets.
What's up, guys? What's going on, Hammer? So, Ray, I got a question for you. What is a typical, like this year? Nothing this year's typical. Totally understand that. But what is a typical Thanksgiving in the Garvin home look like? Being that we just had Thanksgiving yesterday.
Dude, this is the first time in 12 years that we haven't been together as family. So every year, we used to do Christmas together as a family, but as we all got older and everyone got their own families and kids, like we stopped doing that. But Thanksgiving, we typically rotate houses. So this is the first time in 12 years that I haven't been with my other family, not my current family. So this year was a little different. I had to cook. Which I enjoy cooking, but I had to do everything, man. I had to fry the turkey. I had to do the ham. I had to do the mac and cheese. So, man, just chilled out, man. That was really it, man. But typically it's family. So uncles and cousins telling lies, old fisherman tales, telling lies, talking shit, eating food, watching the Cowboys get pummeled. That was pretty typical right there to watch them lose on Thanksgiving, and saw boring Lions play. That was pretty typical. So that didn't change much. I just had to do a little bit of cooking this year. So that's pretty much it, man.
So what's the dish that you guys have that most people don't have?
Or is
anything? Is there one? That's a good.
Yeah, I think we all, I think we all pretty much eat the same shit on Thanksgiving in some variation. Some of it may be good, some of it may be bad, but we're all having turkey, we're having ham, we're having greens or green bean casserole, mac and cheese, sweet potatoes. I mean, we all eat. Like I see these people post these pictures, like we all eat the same thing, man. Like literally we're all eating the same shit unless you're vegan or vegetarian or something like that. We like meat over here, so that ain't what we do over here. We like meat.
So I heard you say fried turkey, and I want to just yes, because that is the way to go with the turkey is to fry it. Smoking it is good. Jason likes to smoke his meat. Nothing wrong with smoked turkey. I like smoked turkey, but man, nothing beats a good fried turkey. Nothing.
Man.
It doesn't even come close.
And it doesn't take long, man. It doesn't take long at all. 3.5, 4 minutes a pound, man. You get you a decent sized bird. An hour, you got a fried turkey, man. It's good.
Yep. Nice, juicy. The skin is nice and crispy. So good, so good.
I do. Like I said, I do. Like he said, I do a little bit extra and I smoke it. But that's also that way I can smoke. I smoke the mac and cheese as well. And then yesterday I smoked some cream corn, and that actually turned out really good. Like I'm willing to throw anything on the smoker and see how it turns out.
Dude, I'm a smoker too, man. I like the grill, man. I got 2 grills out back, man. I never thought about smoking the mac and cheese. That sounds delicious,
dude. So you cook the noodles like you would. You mix it in with the cheese and the sauce, and then you throw it in a pan, or I put it in one of those throwaway little tin foil, whatever it is. 225, like an hour and a half, cherry wood, dude. It is so good. Bring it back in, throw it under the broiler, get the cheese on the top, nice and brown, and comes right out. It's so good. Try it, dude. But I'll throw anything in the smoker and test it out. I've done meatloaves, I've done lasagnas, I've done, like I said, I tried cream corn. I'm gonna do you like egg salad? Like half the people here I know don't like egg salad, but eggs. I'm doing smoked egg salad, smoked deviled eggs. We're gonna do all that this year. We'll see how it goes for Christmas.
What do you have? You got a Traeger or you got an offset smoker?
So what I have, it's called a Masterbuilt. It's a gravity fed charcoal smoker. So you load the charcoal on the side, and as the charcoal burns, more charcoal falls in. So and you mix your wood into the charcoal and in the ash pan. I don't do pellets. I like the ease of use on a pellet grill, but it just it doesn't give enough smoke flavor. So
yeah, I got an old offset smoker, so you got to constantly watch that damn thing, feed wood, make sure it doesn't get too hot, and I've got it all modded up to make the smoke stay in the chamber a little bit longer instead of just going out of the smokestack.
So I can tell you, if you want something easy, it's the best of both worlds because it's charcoal, so it's like a it's like a purist charcoal smoker. You use charcoal, you use wood, but it's also got a digital readout where it maintains the temperature because it's got a fan built in, and so if it starts dropping in temp, the fan comes on, stokes the fire, heats the thing back up. So it's a little bit of best of both worlds where it's got the digital readout so you don't have to babysit it, but it's also an actual charcoal. So you get that smoke ring, you get some nice smoke flavor to it. Dude, it's incredible. I'm glad I found that thing. And I cook on it every weekend.
Love it.
So Bob wanted to say, and I want to say this because it seems funny, smoked deviled eggs are X-rated, speaking of pants off.
I seen a meme the other day. It's, hey, are you interested in eating six hard-boiled eggs? No. What if I add a little bit of mustard, paprika, and mix up and put it back in the thing, and we'll call it deviled eggs? I'm down for half a dozen eggs at that point.
Yeah, what is it? The Replacements? What was that guy's name? Where he was just sitting popping eggs in his mouth? Remember?
Jumbo.
And I'm like, man, I'd never do that. But yeah, Thanksgiving, if there's a tray of deviled eggs there, I'm just
like you walk by, oh look, it's a deviled egg. I'll take 2. Walk by, oh look, I'll take 2 more.
You get so mad when they're gone, and you've only already had 7 or 8 of them.
Dude, if I eat that many deviled eggs, I'd be in the guest room. My wife would kick me out of the bedroom that night.
That's a good way to end up on the court.
Dude,
Look, I do get stomach medicine that helps me with that, so I don't have to worry about that.
So we got a thing here from Justin. It says, "Hey, would you guys stop it? Hey fellas, so it's Jason, Mike. I know. So often you guys have Ray on. He'll know me as the guy he gave a free entry to the SFBX to. So apparently you gave our boy Justin an entry to the Scott Fish Bowl this year.
yes, sir. Congrats. Well, not congrats, but I'm glad you got in. My team absolutely stinks. I think I'm literally in like the bottom 10 in scoring in FFBX. So I hope you're doing better than me, man.
I did well last year. Not this year, man.
No, this year I'm horrible. So my first pick was Dak Prescott. He's done. My second pick was Austin Eckler. Haven't had him. Third pick, it doesn't matter at that point. my team is so garbage. Like I only drafted 2 quarterbacks. Luckily, my second quarterback I drafted was Aaron Rodgers. I got him in the 5th round. So like I'm doing good with Rodgers, but man, my team is just absolute garbage this year.
Dude, is it just me or are you guys just ready for this season? Like I'm enjoying having football, but fantasy wise, like I'm just like, screw
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
I'm just sick of fucking every single week. It's like, oh, this guy's got COVID. This guy's got COVID. This guy's got COVID. How are you going to adapt, dude? And it's been exhausting. If I'm being completely honest, it's like, I'm tired of adapting. I'm tired of trying to fix it. Like there's so many leagues where I'm just like, I'm not even fixing my lineup. I'm leaving Lamar Jackson in, and I don't care if he has COVID or not. Like, there's just nothing I can do about it at this point. I'm tired of should I put Drew Lock in there? Fuck no, I can't do that. I'm going to leave Lamar in there, and I'm just going to hope that he doesn't croak before then.
It's what we call those leagues, free leagues.
The crazy thing is, though, the way this season is gone, you might be better off leaving in a player with COVID to give you a 0 than subbing him out and getting -11 from like literally. Like you guys took the word. It's exhausting. I've missed so many waivers. I'm behind. I'm in too many damn leagues. Seriously, too many. I don't know when waivers are. I miss them all. Like I've never before this season have I been 100% fab in week 11, week 12 of a fantasy football season. I went back and looked. I've got like $99 fab, 100% fab here. Like this season has been exhausting. You go out and blow your fab on a player like Gus Edwards, and then hell, they damn near they weren't even going to play, right? And then you've got just injuries galore. I'm over it, man. I'm over it.
Yeah. Well, I'm ready to hit the reset button and play a new season, like in redraft, and like a lot of my dynasty leagues fell apart during this whole COVID thing, just because people just kind of just stopped. I mean, I think we're exhausted as analysts, right? Like imagine the normal people that are doing this on a day-to-day basis. They're sick of it too. I
think we're catching it more than most, though, because like on top of all these issues, it's on 25 teams, right? Like it's not you playing with your friends and a couple other teams, maybe at work and something like that. But like how many leagues did you get invited to where you said, I'm not going to play in another league, and then somebody right before the season's like, hey, let's get a group together and play another league, and you're like, well, I guess so. Why not? What's one more? So it's not just like being exhausted in 1 or 2 leagues. It's like every league has some of these players. If you played in 1 or 2, like a couple of guys being out may not even affect you. But like when you have to go check 20 teams to see, okay, how many Ravens do I have on these 20? And you can't even keep track of it anymore, because how would you do that with 20 teams?
Do y'all remember? Do you remember the good old days whenever you used to set a lineup, or when you're drafting players in certain leagues when you weren't in a ton, and you're like, well, I've got Kelsey in this league, but I have to play Kelsey in that league, and you're like freaking out about it. Now the same players that are winning me games, they're fucking beating my ass in another league, and I don't even care. I'm just like, whatever, dude. Like, I'll win one, lose one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. So you go into Monday night going, okay, I need Denver to score less than 3.5 points,
right.
but I need their kicker to give me a field goal. That's all, and then I can win. And it's like you can't do it, man. It's just too much.
I need Philip Lindsay to give me 67.8 yards, because if he gives me 69, I lose in this league. But I win in this one. Like, yep, I stopped paying attention to that shit. It's just been an off year, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
I hate COVID.
Well, and then what we did is in March and April, when we were locked inside, we joined a bunch of bullshit leagues just because there's nothing else to do, right? Like, hey, there's like, how stupid are we? Like, why did I join all these not redraft, dynasty, like legit dynasty?
I can tell you why you did it is because it was a draft. It was drafts. Like we were stuck inside, and everybody wanted to draft. There was no, and you know what we all thought? Oh, they're not playing the season anyway. Fuck it. If I'm not going to have to stick with these 37 drafts, you know what I mean? That's exactly what happened. That's why we did it. Because in March, April, May, we were all like, let's join these dynasty drafts. Yeah. I can be in another draft. Let's do another draft. And Bob Gilchrist here is exactly right. We should have all just done best balls because it's a draft. You got the high from the draft, but you didn't have to set a lineup after that.
I heard somebody else say that, and at first when I heard it, I'm like, no way, man. But the more that I think about it, man, dynasty best ball could be like, yes, there's some fun about. I started my guy. You know what I mean? I found this guy off waivers, and I'm starting my guy. But if you're in best, I mean, you're going to get those points regardless. And I think best ball would take a lot of pressure off of if you've got multiple leagues. And I think as a commission, some leagues, like if I open up some more, it's going to be best ball. Draft your team, get the high from the draft, and then don't fucking worry about it to the end of the season, man.
Yeah, it's, I'm not in enough best ball.
Nope. Those are called the quarantine leagues is what we all joined. You guys nailed it. You guys nailed it. We're all quarantined in. Can't go out and do nothing. Can't really socialize with anybody. Somebody pops up. Hey, look, I got a draft in this league next week. If you're interested, it's something to do. Let's do it.
Just think about it.
That's exactly
what
happened.
What was the last movie you saw in the theater? Can you even remember what it was?
It was an early.
Well, I know when
February,
it might have been, but
sure.
Can you remember? Can you remember what the movie was? Because like
mine was.
I'm a guy who goes all the time.
Like, that's how long ago it's been since I've been to a movie. How embarrassing is that? Mine is like COVID had nothing to do with my movie going.
The last time Mike went to the movie theater, The Wizard of Oz was out for the first time.
Well, I mean, before Mike moved to Florida, he was in Wyoming. Like, that theater probably wasn't worth going to anyway.
It's always been a thing, like trying to contain me for more than 5 minutes is next to impossible. You can ask anybody from my kindergarten teacher to my current girlfriend right now. Like, I mean, the fact that I can sit here for about an hour at a time, that's about as much as I can give anything because I'm just hyperactive. ADHD, man. I can't sit in a movie theater.
Bob says his last movie was Batman with Michael Keaton.
Fuck yeah, the real Batman. The real Batman. That's the only Batman, Michael Keaton.
At least he didn't go to the Clooney ones.
Oh, Clooney Batman. Ugh.
Yeah, come on.
Disgusting.
If I can take you in a fight, you probably shouldn't be Batman. And I would just like Michael Keaton would whoop my ass and not even fucking look back, but I could take Clooney. It wouldn't even be close.
Val Kilmer seems like one that you could probably take pretty easy too.
I would fight Clooney and Kilmer at the same time. I wouldn't be
I just want to watch this. I just want to see Mike fighting Val Kilmer and George Clooney at the same time.
I mean, taking sips of Miller Lite in between rounds, just
hitting, ripping my bong while I'm here. Like, yeah, this is who you're kicking your ass right now. This smoking drinking your movie star asses.
Have you seen Kilmer lately though? That dude's put on some weight. He's in another division from you now.
That makes it even easier.
He can't move. Oh man.
It's funny we're talking all this crap about startups, and I'm in a dynasty startup, mid-season dynasty startup right now. I like doing mid-season dynasty startups because, man, there's so much value to be had in these mid-season dyno startups. And just looking at the board right now, I'm just like, yeah, man, this is gonna be fun. Like these are fun, but I guarantee next year I'll be bitching about not wanting to play in this one either. So.
Well, out of curiosity, where's Jonathan Taylor going in that draft? That's one guy who I've got my eyeballs on for next year that I'm gonna try to steal him in every dynasty league I'm in this year.
He was rookie RB5, and he was running back overall 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just cracked inside the top 12. RB11, Dobbins, Sanders, Swift, Edwards-Helaire, Gibson, Cook, Jacobs, Barkley, McCaffrey, Kamara, and Najee Harris were drafted before Jonathan Taylor.
So that lets me know that I've got really good high expectations about what I'm going to be doing with that boy in the offseason, because like him and Clyde Edwards-Helaire are two guys that I feel like share the same destiny almost, where I don't feel like they're going to be a guy that's huge in the first, like I don't think they're going to be anything next year either, if I'm being completely honest. And so my time to pounce on them is after next year. But I think their third year breakout, they're going to look like Derrick Henry out there. You're going to see two guys that look like two versions of Derrick Henry pounding the ball down the middle. I mean, they're going to understand the NFL. They're going to understand the linebacker schemes. They're going to be dominant, man. So Jonathan Taylor in the offseason, I'm just like salivating thinking about all the shares of him I'm going to be able to get for nothing.
I really like that, like you were talking about, though. I like the mid-year. I like those mid-year like drafts, mid-year startup leagues. Because you can get some really great players because everybody's still hanging on the names of the people that you thought were going to be good this offseason. And it's not that it hasn't been long enough for people to let that go yet. So you're just plucking off talent that's actually showing out now, and they're plucking off guys that aren't doing anything for anyone.
Yep.
So
Antonio Gibson, RB5 overall. RB5.
Woo! That now let me ask you this. Is it just me, or is that recency biased?
Of course that plays a big time role in it. You know, if he went out there and was just regular versus Dallas, 68 yards, even give him a touchdown, there's no way he's going ahead of Dalvin Cook, Miles Sanders, Swift, Edwards-Helaire. I don't think that would happen, but
it's crazy, man.
That's what happens, man.
But Dalvin Cook's got years, and that's what drives me nuts about dynasty leagues. Like, I love dynasty leagues, don't get me wrong, but man, how many of them last past 3 or 4 years before they crumble? A handful, right? And so, like, you're telling me you're not going to take Dalvin Cook for the next 2 or 3 years. You're going to take Antonio Gibson because he's a couple years younger, thinking that league is actually going to last long enough for Dalvin Cook to retire.
That's my biggest thing with dynasty leagues, man, is the league longevity, man. You know, people dip out. You invest all this time into it, and the league crumbles, man. Like, I'm trying to win now. Like, I want to win now. You want to position your team to be good now and later. But and this is one of my patron leagues. The likelihood of this thing actually lasting 5 years is slim to none. You know what I mean? That's just the reality of it. So, while it's fun to draft these super young guys, man, the name of the game is to win, boys. Like, I want to win. I want my money at the end of the year. I want to fucking win.
Right.
Bob Gilchrist comes in with a
my God,
with a take. I agree with on this one. James Robinson is better than Antonio Gibson.
Me and George are like legit arguing about this in one of our chats right now about Antonio, not even Antonio Gibson, just about how high as a giraffe pussy he is on James Robinson and how low I am on James Robinson's future. I'm like, do you realize that scouts for the NFL, the money that they make and what they do, they get paid to watch these guys, and there's a reason that they faded on James Robinson. It's the same reason that they faded on Phillip Lindsay. It's that when this guy hits about the 300 snap mark, he starts breaking, and he starts breaking very important parts of his body, and he stops being a utilizable back. and we'll see that happen next year. Is he great this year? Absolutely. But his metrics will not lie. Mathematics are just a son of a bitch at the end of the day when it comes down to it.
Mike, are you referring to the exact same scouts that had Antonio Brown as a 6th round draft pick, Tom Brady as a 6th round draft pick,
no,
Arian Foster as an undrafted free agent? Are you referencing those same scouts? Because they've been wrong before.
Football from 20 years ago, George. I'm talking about today's football, where these guys do not miss very often. Like, who's the last undrafted free agent that did good?
Lindsey, yeah.
Lindsey, yeah.
Okay, so did they miss on him? Because I would say about a second and a half to third year, he started to break, and he hasn't been this reliable back that you've wanted him to be since that time.
I don't know. I missed everything after high as a giraffe's pussy. You said that, and my brain froze for the last 3 or 4 minutes. Just I couldn't think of anything else. I'm how high is? I started thinking about how high that is, and
it's high.
It's got to be up there.
Let me tell you something. Even with my pants down, I ain't reaching that pussy, man. I'm not reaching that.
I'm not getting there.
I guess the question is, are you going to try? That's not even jumping.
Yes.
I'm up for any challenge, but not that one.
I'm 6'2". I have to do this to look at a giraffe's pussy.
The funny thing about that is he's looked.
There was only that one time, okay?
Oh,
so
man.
right. Let me get your opinion on this. James Robinson or Gibson? What do you think there?
Man, dude. So I was the biggest James Robinson, call me hater, for weeks 1 through 9. Because the reality is he is an undrafted free agent. And very good point. These dudes get paid a lot of money to scout these guys. And his college stats didn't just get good when he got to the NFL. He was passed on by 32 teams 7 times. You know what I mean? Sometimes in cases more with more draft capital, this dude was passed on completely. Now, to your point, George, do NFL guys get things wrong? Absolutely. Absolutely, they get stuff wrong. Should Antonio Brown have been a 6th round pick? Should Hines Ward have been that late? Probably not in hindsight, but where am I at with James Robinson and Antonio Gibson? Give me the guy who was drafted in the 3rd round, who has that security, I believe. James Robinson, they're going to wear that dude out. He's making peanuts in relation to his counterparts. They're about to ride his ass into the ground this year, probably next year, and I highly doubt they re-sign him. And then after that, I like both players, man. I think both players can help you win titles this year. I think both players are going to be good next year. But long term, if I truly had to say which player do I believe will be a mainstay in the NFL for their team, it's Antonio Gibson. But I do like James Robinson. I'm actually trying to trade for him right now in the league I'm trying to win. I do like him, but I like Gibson, and I believe in what he could be long term just a little bit more.
Yeah, my whole thing with Robinson, and I laid this out with Mike in the chat we were going back and forth with, is look what Robinson is doing with a just absolutely terrible Jaguars team. If they get better, if they get even just better quarterback play, he's going to see less guys in the box, which then means it's going to open up more running lanes for him, which means he's just going to be more productive. Right now, DJ Chark has been in and out of the lineups. He's out this week, and Robinson is still a top 5 running back. So if they're not putting as many guys in the box, it's just going to open up the game for him. If the offense gets better to the point where he has an opportunity to punch in, even 2 or 3 more touchdowns a year, he's going to be a mainstay as a top. I would have him as a top 12 running back. I'm not going to say he's every year he's going to be a top 5 running back. That's ridiculous.
But I think we make that mistake a lot. as fantasy analysts, we make that mistake. If that team gets better, it only helps him. Not necessarily. If they get a better quarterback, they don't dump it off to the running back as often as they dump it off to James Robinson. If they get a better quarterback, they throw the ball more often and they hit DJ Chark down the field instead of missing him by 10 yards or throwing an interception. If they get a better wide receiver on the opposite side of DJ Chark, maybe he gets some of those receptions and DJ Chark's usage goes down. Like, we make that mistake a lot. And I'm not saying it's impossible for him to have more opportunity. I'm just saying it's not a given. We make that mistake a lot. Just because that team gets better doesn't mean that team getting better also may mean drafting somebody to spell A-Rob every once in a while. So, like, we make that mistake, and I don't just because they get better doesn't mean he gets more usage or ends up being a better player.
No, but the value of his touches then become better. Like if they have a guy who can hit DJ Chark and DJ Chark gets it down within the 5 versus actually running it in, now those touches that Robinson's getting inside the 5 or the 10 are a lot more valuable. And that's why I said he could literally see an increase of just 2 or 3 touchdowns. It's not an ridiculous amount. It's not like saying, oh, he's going to get 7, 8, 9, 10 more touchdowns. No, that's ridiculous. But even 2 or 3 more a year, it makes his touches more valuable.
So the thing I think to me that I'm thinking of that's the biggest thing that's weighing down on me about that is that, yes, the touches are there and everything, but what I think we're missing here is I feel like Jaguars might actually have a fairly decent offensive line, and that might be the one thing here that we're kind of brushing off. Look at what Leonard Fournette did last year as compared to what he did this year. I think that Jags line might actually be fairly decent in creating holes, creating space. I don't think this is a James Robinson thing. I think it's a Jaguars thing and an opportunity thing.
Yeah, I like this tweet. Both Ray and I just went and looked at it from Bob. Only one rookie has over 1,000 yards this year. That's James Robinson.
So we do have a fantasy football question. We're not doing as many of them, but he asked if we were doing it, and I said, sure, why not? Do you guys like Deontay Johnson or Mike Evans at wide receiver 2 this week? Full PPR. Do I even risk the Steelers playing this week?
That's a good question. Typically,
I risk the Steelers playing. I don't think that there's a chance in hell that they stop that game from happening. Just the nightmare that it creates. So I'm playing people, but I can't sit Mike Evans for Deontay Johnson. I like them both a lot, but I'm still playing Mike Evans.
I'm going to play Mike Evans because I am worried about that game. Tuesday night, man, if they don't play, you have no opportunity to screw that, to change it, and you're just stuck. I would play Deontay Johnson without the COVID concerns 100 times out of 100 between those two, just the way they've been playing and the amount of targets Deontay gets. But with the COVID concern, I'm going to go ahead and just fall back to Mike Evans.
Ray, where are you at on this?
Yeah, they play Kansas City. Give me Mike Evans. Kansas City's going to score points. Tom Brady is targeting Mike Evans. Mike Evans is more involved in the red zone. I saw somebody talk about Antonio Brown earlier. He's not being targeted in the end zone, in the red zone. He's looking Mike Evans' way. So give me Mike. And it's just, I talked about this a lot with the college side and even the NFL to some degree. Tuesday game, man, everything's just all screwed up, man. Like, can Deontay go out there and still smash? I love Deontay Johnson, absolutely. What you're risking is if Mike Evans blows up on Sunday, you're sitting there praying that Deontay Johnson does what he needs to do on Tuesday, and that's just not a good feeling, man. They're playing Kansas City. Give me Mike Evans, man. It's going to be they're going to score points.
So am I the only one who would much prefer the NFL to have a Tuesday game over a Thursday game? Am I alone in that? Like, I'd rather have games Sunday, Monday, Tuesday than a game on Thursday, Sunday, Monday. Like, I just think for the players, it gives them, a couple extra days to recover from a Tuesday game playing on Sunday than Thursday. Playing on Sunday and then having to play again on Thursday.
I'm not a huge fan of the Thursday game if I'm being 100%. So, yeah, I mean, I'd be up for anything that isn't that. I do enjoy having the football on that night, but it seems like you're just watching a different football game than what you're used to. Like the teams just don't show up the way the same teams show up. So, I'd be into anything that wasn't that. So,
I like the Saturday games, like when the playoffs hit and they do the wild card games on Saturday. Yep. Like
I like really,
I enjoy those, man. I think I would prefer that to a Thursday, and I'm pretty sure the players would be like, hell, I'll play on Saturday and then get my Sundays off, and then you have your Monday. Like, I think they would like that as well. I like that, but Thursday it just seems like a completely different damn game, right? Like, it just seems different, man.
Right.
So I've been saying it all year, and I'm going to repeat it again with the Thursday night game. Like, I don't think the NFL, like they say they care a lot about player safety and everything they do is for player safety and whatnot. They don't care. They absolutely do not care. If they cared, they wouldn't have a team playing Sunday and then coming back and playing on Thursday. Like that shit just would not happen. Mike mentioned about the COVID and them playing the Steelers playing Tuesday. That game's going to happen. Like guarantee 100%. There's too much money involved, too much money, too much revenue, too many contracts involved for them to reschedule that to week 18.
Adding a second bye week to both of those teams, like logistically impossible at this point. If they would have scheduled for this ahead of time and said we're going to have a week 18 of football, the NFL wouldn't have near the problems that they're running into right now. Your fantasy teams wouldn't have near the problems that they're having right now. They just didn't even see it coming, and I'm really baffled as to how they didn't. Like it's like we all saw it coming. This offseason NFL money, I'll tell you that kind of shit.
This offseason, we all kind of were just waiting around, like they talking about delaying the season, and we were all just kind of waiting around for them to come up with a plan, and they just didn't. It was just like, we'll figure it out in season. There was no plan in case any of this happens. There was no bubble. There was, the NBA was successful with the bubble. The baseball teams were successful playing in the playoffs, in a couple of just two locations. Like those, they were successful because they came up with a plan. And I get it. The NFL is it's a much bigger animal. It's a lot more players on the rosters. I get all that. You can't have all those guys in a bubble. I get it all. But to just go, we're not coming up with a plan. We'll deal with it in season. That's not a plan in of itself, and that's why we're getting what we're getting, and that's why they're going to play Tuesday night, and we might see Robert Griffin III come out and play because Lamar's got it.
The return of RG3.
RG3's exploding knees, and how that'll probably last about half a quarter. I wonder who their backup is. I'd almost play their backup over RG3.
Bob Gilchrist says should Metcalf have been drafted so late?
No.
I mean, it's hard to there were some question marks but we do that all the time with these guys that have decent measurables and then comes out and throws a slow cone drill, right? Man, when he went to that team, the athlete that he is, we should have all just seen it and gone, okay, yeah, he's an easy top wide receiver. But we let a bad drill push him down the draft board.
No, we didn't do shit. NFL evaluators did that, and that is just. I mean, when you really think about that, Andy Isabella was drafted ahead of DK Metcalf. Even if you didn't like his 3-cone drill, you're gonna take a guy who's literally the same size as me that played at UMass, over 6'4", 230 pounds. It just. I was dead wrong, fellas, on Chase Claypool. I was one of the guys saying he should have been a tight end. He's not going to be a good wide receiver. What I've learned this year is hit or miss. I'm not going to bet against 6'3", 6'4", 230, 240 that runs a 4.4. I'm not going to bet against that guy. And should DK have been drafted? Hell no. You redo that draft, the 2019 draft, and he's a top 5 pick. Right now, you redo that 2019 draft, and no NFL team is because he is. But luckily for DK, the thing that DK's agent probably told him is because you were drafted in the second round, your contract, your rookie deal is shorter. You're tethered to a Hall of Fame quarterback. Your payday is coming, son. Your payday is coming. He's going to smash this season.
Oh, yeah.
And after next year, that's year 3, they're going to extend him, and he's going to be the highest paid wide receiver in NFL history at that point in time. Tethered to Russell Wilson, it's coming. So should he have been drafted that late? No. But if they could redo that, he would have been at worst a top 8 pick in the NFL draft.
Absolutely.
Absolutely agree. So we got one last question, then we're going to get you out of here. It's from Nate Whalen. Does that mean Isaiah Hodgins and Colin Johnson will eventually do something? I know Hodgins is on IR.
They're not in DK Metcalf's stratosphere as far as athleticism. But I do like Colin Johnson. When he's on the field in Jacksonville, actually got him the ball, he looked okay. Are they going to be DK Metcalf? Hell no. Like, no. But they are worthy holds in Dynasty.
Yeah, anything Jacksonville is going to be quarterback dependent, in my opinion, too. I mean, like, that team needs a quarterback before I can decide one damn thing about a receiver. Like Laviska Shenault, man, I really like him. He's amazing. The guy has amazing metrics. Looks like shit this year because he's got people like Gardner Minshew. I think Jason played last week for them. Didn't you, Jason?
That's why, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I mean, so, like, it's just they're just kind of grabbing people off the street and throwing to him. So, like, that's a guy, like, so I want to see him in a different team. Like Royce Freeman. I've always wanted to see Royce Freeman in a situation that doesn't have another pass-catching back involved or anything like that because, gosh dang, that guy looks so good on tape and on paper that he should be amazing. You know, like, I want to see that kind of stuff, but you don't get to see it because of the opportunities that they end up in.
And speaking of giraffes, Mike Glennon is playing this week for the Jaguars. And I saw the tweet I liked this week is Mike Glennon didn't even realize he was on the Jags.
Right. That's too funny.
Poor Mike Glennon. All right, so we're gonna end it on Mike Glennon. Ray, do me a favor. Why don't you tell everybody where they can follow you, where they can sign up for your Patreon, all that good stuff.
Hey man, just holler at me on Twitter at RayGQ. You go to RayGQ, you'll find everything you need to know. Just want to say I appreciate you guys having me on this Friday night. You know, it was fun talking about some crazy stuff on here with you guys. I'll leave it at that, man. I'll leave it at that. I promise you. I promise you, I won't stand up right now.
I mean, why put us all to shame, man? Why would you do that? So I'm glad you're staying.
My wife turned the air on and the fan is on. I would not put anybody to shame right now. It is cold. It is cold in here. All right, so we're going to end it with that. Again, follow him on Twitter at RayGQ. You can follow me on Twitter at BFTGPod. You can follow Jason on Twitter at BFTJason. Right? Is that right? Yeah, BFTJason. And then, as always, Mike is Dirty Jobs everywhere. You can follow him at Dirty Jobs 21 on Twitter. You can also follow the Sleeper Wire Show at Sleeper Wire Show. Again, Ray, appreciate you coming in, spending Friday night with us. And with that, Mike, hit the music. We're getting the hell out of here.